start off with a story. When I was in school, specifically when we were in middle school, 5th standard, 6th standard, what connected me and my two best friends was our deep interest that we shared in computer science and science itself. In fact, in 5th standard and 6th standard, when all our peers were interested in automobiles and sports, which kids are supposed to be interested in, fortunately or unfortunately, we ended up being the nerdy gang. We ended up learning programming in Perl. We were doing small experiments. We were learning to code. Our favorite book was The Brief History of Time. When we got to 10th, we presented our first scientific paper in a research facility. By the time we were in 11th, we won an inter-college programming contest, which was supposed to be for college students, and all our competitors were the pre-final and final year students of engineering colleges, right? Which led us to believe we really wanted to pursue a career in computers and science, right? Years later, we are 23. One of us is a neuroscientist doing his doctoral research in Switzerland. The second built a product. It got acquired as a team and is now a data scientist, and I'm the third. When I got into engineering, what I wanted to do was to build something meaningful in technology. Wanted to build a meaningful product. And I got into engineering with high hopes. I thought, hey, I'm going into a technical course, and I would be able to learn something that I've never seen before, right? But then 2 years into college, I kind of realized that was not that was not happening. We ended up building a couple of products. I ended up doing 2 products and a bit of consulting on the side. Made money, learned technology, but the more important thing is, I got so much exposure into how things actually worked. And by the time I was in my first semester, the college kind of came down on me. They said, you gotta need 75% attendance, or you can't continue here, right? And I had to make a choice. So I compared very objectively. In first year of college, I built the software that was used to manage the attendance of students in that college. Interestingly, none of my computer science faculty could really read it. They didn't understand, or they were not able to maintain it. And that led me to understanding the learning curve that I have here is going to be not as steep, if there is one, as compared to what I was doing outside, right? So the decision was pretty natural for me. I decided to drop out and continue with my startup. But I did go back 2 years later, and I hired the smartest students in my batch into my company. The common thing that runs across the story, we can't call ourselves success, but then what I'm happy about for all 3 of us is that we are doing what we love. We are doing what we are extremely passionate about. And the reason for that is we went beyond what was required out of us. We went beyond what people asked us to do, and we took some ownership and we did something that we really cared about. We took the extra mile, right? And I think that made all the difference. Today, I'm the head of operations at CareStack. We are a startup. We started off in 2015. We're an enterprise product in the US dental space. We are backed by the same investors in Facebook and Flipkart. And we have a 120-member team of super smart engineers and analysts building the product out of Trivandrum for a vast $3 billion US dental market, right? And in an effort to build solid technology, we hire year-round. And every year, I meet a good number of engineering graduates to hire as engineers, to hire as analysts. We even hire into a marketing team. And the experience of hiring graduates is both satisfying and disappointing at the same time. And I'll tell you why. Satisfying, because I get to meet a few very smart, extremely driven, very passionate individuals whom we are able to give an opportunity to kickstart their career. Disappointing, because those few are a very, very, very minor portion of the total number of people we meet. And what I often come across, as much as 80% of the graduate students I meet, is that they don't really know what they want to do after their education. So I heard someone saying, in India, you either become an engineer, a doctor, or a family disappointment, right? And so I can understand the reason why a lot of people go into engineering or a professional degree. And that's fine, right? And going out of engineering, understanding that I don't want to pursue a career in engineering, or I don't want to pursue a career in the field that I studied, it's completely fine. In fact, it's great, provided you know what you want to do, right? And that's missing. And that's where we have a problem, right? So why is it that we have 70 million graduates? We have 1.5 million engineering graduates coming out every year. And still, only 7% of our talent pool is employable. At least that's what the report says. Why is it that we have to talk about unemployment or young graduates not getting jobs and the industry not getting enough skilled talent, both on the same stage? That's ironic, right? But that's what I want to talk to you about. So we all know the villain. In fact, we talk a lot about the villain here. Everybody does. The system, right? The system is wrong. The system is this, that. The system is not the best. And I agree with you. But it has never been. And there is only so much we can do by blaming the system. So how can we fix it? That's the most important question. How can we make sure all our smart kids are equally successful? How can we make sure the nation can use its human capital to its fullest? Well, the most common advice that's available out there, and we have all heard it, 3 words: follow your passion. Right? We've heard it so much that we've grown so familiar to it, and we've now probably started ignoring it. So let's break it down. Let's break it down into terms we understand, right? So what exactly is passion? What you want to do, what you'd love doing for a large part of your life, and you'd still love doing that more and more. That's what passion is. So you need to be good at doing that, and you need to enjoy doing that. So if you were to put it in a single sentence, passion is what you enjoy being good at, right? And that's what people find hard to identify. So, and I'll tell you why. And that's our first problem, that our new generation is finding hard to identify what they enjoy being good at. Because the school system and the college system teaches, the only thing that's supposed to be good is studies, right? And if anything is enjoyable, that's not something good for you. We are so used to putting our kids in templates that you repeatedly do over and over, so that you get out of the system and you're supposed to follow a direction, right? You want to build a startup? That's a distraction. You want to build a short film? Don't do it while your exams are nearing. You want to become an artist? Draw me a front view section of this machine with a medium dark HB pencil. The engineering graduates will understand, right? That's a problem. We have been asked to do things over and over again that a million others already did and still didn't make it big. So if we fix that first one problem, if we let our younger generation just identify what they are good at, just identify what they would want to do, just allow them to try and think about it, that allows them to at least identify their passion. So to the students, to the parents, and to the teachers of this generation and the next, if we want our kids to be able to follow their passion, give them the space to think about. Because the kids are smarter. Every generation, every succeeding generation is going to be smarter than the previous one. And they themselves are the best people to decide what they'll enjoy and what they'll be good at, right? So now let's consider this problem solved. Let's consider we all know what we're good at. We all know what our passion is. What's the next thing? What do? We do nothing. We are extremely good at doing nothing, right? So recently, a graduate, a student who was doing his graduation, not engineering, but something else, told me he wants to do marketing, which was not his field of study. And I was excited to hear that. I said, okay, you have identified that. You've identified your passion. So what kind of marketing do you like? What do you love about marketing so that I can help you, right? So he said, I don't really know. I don't really know how marketing is done, but I like it. So that's the first problem. We're choosing random things. So it's good that we've identified something, right? But then we have not taken action. And so there is no way to validate that if it's a passion or not. There is no way to genuinely understand if you enjoy doing that for the rest of your life. So what do? If something genuinely excites you, the only thing you can do to be good at it is to start taking action, is to start doing it, right? And our students need to understand the value of doing things, which is not taught to them ever. We need to understand how different it is when you actually do something, when you build something, how it is to innovate, how it is to approach learning from a very practical and experiential point of view. So I meet computer science graduates, top of the class, who can't tell me what cloud is, right? At the same time, I also meet computer science graduate, probably not top of the class, probably flunking their exams, but who are building cloud applications and deploying it on Google Cloud and Azure and Amazon Web Service, right? That's a difference. And the latter is who will succeed in tomorrow's revolution, because the industry is moving away from needing people who will do what they've asked to do to innovators and artists and people who are very passionate, who will take things on their own and who drive it, right? So that's what we need to understand. And once we've done that, we need to empower and we need to encourage each one of us, our students, ourselves, our sons and daughters, to stop thinking and start doing it. You want to be a writer? Start writing. Start writing a micro story, and then a story, and then a book. You want to be an entrepreneur? Work in a startup, or startup on your own, right? You teach, act, whatever you like to do, start doing that. Because if there is one thing I have learned by being in a startup, by running something, it is that things never, ever, ever happen on its own. And that's not what we've been taught. We're taught things will happen on its own, due course of time. But that's not what I've seen. If you're running something on your own, you'll understand that things never happen on its own. You always need to be pushing it. You always need to be controlling it. There is not one thing you can leave to chance and expect it to succeed, right? So failure is good. So every time you do it, you might fail. And that's good, because the moment you fail, you have to make a decision. You have to take a decision whether, do I want to continue doing this? Do you feel passionate still after failing on something to again do it over and over again? Or, do you think it's a good thing that you failed? You have learned something and you want to do it again. You want to do it better. If you don't feel motivated to move forward, understand that's not your passion. That was an interest. You explored it, good, right? Go to the next thing. But if you still feel passionate to move forward, then do it again. So let's humor me and imagine every time you do something, every story you write, every project you make, imagine every action that you take is just 10% better than the last one. Just 10%, right? It will take you, your 10th action, the 10th time you do something, it's going to be 2.5 times better, mathematically. Your 20th time, you're going to be more than 6 times better. And your 30th time, you're going to be more than 17 times better, right? That is the cumulative nature of learning. It's never linear, it's exponential. And every time you get up and start doing it, you'll be better at it, and you'll be telling yourself that you like to do it. Because people like to do what they're good at, often. right? So before I end, just take 5 seconds, take a deep breath, and think about that one single thing you think you'll enjoy being good at that you're currently not doing. Just think about it. Now take another deep breath and think about that one thing you can do which makes you confident you will learn that thing that you previously thought about. What is that one action you can take to learn that better? Another deep breath. That's what you should do. Go do that. And tell me if you have failed or succeeded. And tell me, do you still want to get up and start doing it if you have failed? And tell me if that's something you feel enjoy being good at and you want to follow that with all your might. I want to end with a quote from The Alchemist, and it's not about the universe conspiring. The only way to learn is to do. It is through action. Everything you need to know, you have learned through your journey. So act on what you enjoy doing and make your journey a memorable one. Thank you.